Hello gamers, I'm SPC Brawlers. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different this time with Destiny 2. Even though a bunch of content creators from the Destiny 2 universe are covering this, I want to give my own spin with these certain weapons, especially looking at two specific vendors for this season. And I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but I just said, you know what? Give my personal recommendations to other folks because I personally recommended a weapon that I am going to give to you, even if one person hears this video, but another individual did hear this, as I specifically told him this weapon is an absolute must to get. I will know that this will go a long way. So let's get started with Banshee 44. The weapons up for this week will be Cold Denial with Killing Wind and Multi-Kill Clip. This thing has a bit of both of the PvE and PvP side. Killing Wind for PvP and Multi-Kill Clip for PvE. Pretty good overall. I'd say it's a decent roll. Night Watch is another decent roll. Just as the Cold Denial, this thing has snapshot sights and multi-kill clip. But out of the two primaries, I would say Cold Denial is a little better if you're going for a PvP aspect. But the multi-kill clip perks definitely hand in hand for the PvE areas. Now the Last Dance, moving target and kill clip, not too shabby. This one is an okay roll if you're someone that wants to go ham and go very quickly with the enemies. Unfortunately for the vision, this thing is absolute garbage. I am not a fan of surplus, nor am I a fan of elemental capacitor. In the end of the day, if you wish to go with whatever gun you want, depending on what type of playstyle it is all up to you. But for me personally, I cannot work with elemental capacitor. It's just a very odd weapon. It's just a very odd perk, I meant, not the weapon itself. The Berenger's Memory. I hope I said that name correctly. This is an interesting choice. With quick draw and auto-loading holster, you can definitely take this guy out in a nick of a pinch. And especially if you're a Titan, you can definitely get yourself out of a nasty situation. I was about to say nasty, but I meant nasty. This is what caught my attention, the sticky grenades. These little guys, if you know how to aim at an enemy, which many of us should know how to do, you just don't hip fire this thing like crazy, it'll give its effectiveness. Lastly, Bad Omens, tracking module and cluster bomb. If I recall correctly, this was a rocket launcher from Gambit back in the day when Gambit was coming up around, and I think when I got an update. I might be wrong, and I'm probably wrong, but with tracking module and cluster bombs, this is an absolute must. I already have this weapon from long ago, but you cannot go wrong with this weapon. Next up, let's go to Zerg. We have the following. True Prophecy, same thing. The opening shot is good, but the elemental capacitor, it's not my keen to. If you're one that wants to go with increased reload speed, use a solar class. If you can go with the handling isn't that bad. If you're using an arc, go for it. The stability can come in handy with the increasiveness if you're rocking Void. The stasis actually got me a little of an eye-opener. Moderately controls recoil and increases movement speed when aiming down the sights. So that might be Stalker from the Call of Duty games, maybe. But as I mentioned, it's not my cup of tea. This is the weapon, especially if you're one that runs Nightfalls a lot. This escape velocity, this roll is an absolute, just an absolute non-stopper for this little sucker. First of all, what do we got here? Yes, the stats aren't the best, but it's the perks that speak for its mind. Overflow. Picking up special or heavy ammo reloads this weapon to beyond normal capacity. I have seen this gun go up to 80 rounds to the mag. Let me repeat that. 80 rounds to the magazine. You cannot go wrong with this gun if you're going in a Nightfall and you're just spraying enemies that have certain shields, going to town non-stop. You will benefit yourself to having an easier Nightfall with all the ammo that you have. Plus, with this perk, I didn't think that Osmosis could be an even better play roll. Just in and of itself, Osmosis is an absolute must for Nightfalls if you need to deal with enemies that have annoying shields. Using your grenade ability charges this weapon's damage type to match your subclass until you stow it. Especially if you're rocking with certain classes like a Titan, the top tree subclass. You got 2 grenades if you're running a Nightfall that has a lot of arc enemies, just keep chucking grenades. Find yourself... Oh, nice. Find yourself perks that will recharge your grenade a lot faster, and just keep this escape velocity SMG on you as much as you can. You're going to go to absolute town with this thing. It's a must if you're a Nightfall runner. The Last Dance, Quick Draw, and Dragonfly, you cannot go wrong with this thing. The impact is amazing, and with Dragonfly, just aim for the head. You're going to watch those enemies explode like it's the 4th of July. Main ingredient, this season has a huge eye on fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles. I strongly recommend this because main ingredient has hip fire grip and rampage. Not only you don't really need to aim down sights, but if you keep killing, you're going to keep going on a reload speed of a rampage. And it has 7 rounds to the mag. Hollow Words, Lead from Gold, and Backup Plan. This one isn't that bad, I would say. You have the pickup heavy ammo, also grants ammo for the weapon. So if you're one that likes to rock a lot of machine guns, rocket launchers, you also get ammo for this little guy. And the Backup Plan, you'll have a reduced charge time and increased handling speed for a short time. But I would say the main ingredient is a little better than the Hollow Words for the rolls per se. 7th Seraph, auto-loading holster, and Mulligan. Another weapon that you cannot go wrong. Especially the Mulligan perk. That used to be a very, very rare perk, but now it's seemingly to be a little more common with certain weapons. I would say give this one a shot. I already have a certain weapon that has these two, so it's all good for me. And Bite of the Fox, rapid hit and explosive payloads. This one I'm going to skip out on. Not the fact that because of the perk rolls, because they are pretty good, but this is one that you will need to set yourself up if you're going to be a sniper in PvE. Just make sure you keep hitting the enemies very, very quickly. But if you're in Nightfalls, if you have a bunch of enemies coming at you, it's not really the best of ideas, especially if you're in close quarters. That's going to be it for me with the Weapons of the Tower. I'm going to call this series What?
I come bearing help.
Well, it might be a little bit interesting because Banshee will always be at the tower, but Zerg won't be. Well, we'll see with how I'm going to take this series. I might be doing this weekly. This is just a test. Thank you guys for listening in, even though I messed up a little bit with my words here and there. Last but not least, game on, gamers.